Hello, everybody. This is ex-Bethelite. Uh, just finished watching a movie called The Circle. It's got Tom Hanks in it. And all I got to say about my first impression of the movie is we got to stop listening to the people that do the reviews. I listened to some reviews. They were all saying that this movie was horrible. And then I go watch the movie. And man, it's good to me. It was really good to me. Of course, there wasn't a whole bunch of shooting and blowing up stuff. There weren't any shooting and blowing up stuff or anything like that. That's not what it was about. So that might be the reason why. If there ain't a whole bunch of car chases and shooting and blowing everything up, oh, it's got to be a bad movie. But it reminded me so much of Bethel. Like I'm literally in my seat. Here's Rave Motion Pictures. I don't know if you can see it, but that's not actually even where I was. I was over there at the Danbury. The movie went, from the main theater to the Danbury so quick. Maybe because of the reviews. But let's get back to the point. This movie reminded me so much of Bethel. So you have, and I'll try not to spoil the whole movie, but you have the Circle, which is an organization that has concepts that will, in their view, change the world necessarily. I mean, stop people from doing illegal actions and help in a number of ways. Like they've got groundbreaking ideas, and you have a girl, her name is May, and she reminds me so much of myself when I first went to Bethel. She's pretty naive. I was naive. Like she doesn't have a bone in her body that's even going to look into something and not trust something. You know what I mean? So her friend tells her about this organization called The Circle. And prior to learning about it and everything, she's working just a regular job. And she gets an interview for The Circle. Now, The Circle is this organization that reminds me of Bethel. Just like when I went to Bethel, I was working for Emory and dropped everything. Like, oh man, this is a real career that I'm about to have at Bethel. You drop everything wherever your current job is. And this girl, May, just drops her job and goes to this interview for The Circle. And what you'll also notice if you go to see the movie is that while May is a hard worker, she comes to work, she's trying to balance her work, home life, and all that and other stuff. That's not really enough at all. That's not really even what this company seems to be about. Yeah, they can get people to come in and work, but no, they want you to be fully engrossed. They want you to participate in social activities. They want to know where you are pretty much at all times, what you're doing. You had a catastrophe in your family or personal life. Did you talk to one of your fellow circlers about it? Are you really connected socially with everyone here? And that's another thing that I noticed about Bethel. Literally almost exactly what happened to me at Bethel. I come to Bethel and I want to work my tail off. I'm going to study for meetings. I'm going to do great in the congregation and do great at Bethel. It's a lot more about social life than just work. Uh, you want to not just go to your room, study for your meetings, be on time for work, be there for morning worship, do all that. You want to be at parties. You want to be doing things socially. So let me give you an example. At Bethel, you're at your assignment. Lunchtime comes. What are you going to do? You're going to go to lunch and eat lunch, then come back to work? No. You're going to want to. There is going to be sporting events during lunch. You're going to want to leave your work assignment, change into whatever you're going to play in, go to basketball, go to flag football, go to baseball or stickball, and I guess it's stickball, whatever the game is, where the pitcher is on your team. The person pitching the ball to you is on your team. I guess that's stickball. But you're going to want to go to that. As much as the average person is going to go to Bethel and think, I'm supposed to be at lunch, eating my lunch, getting ready to go back into work because I want to eat so I can go back to work and really kill it at work. No, that's not what it's about. You want to, during your lunch period, go and play a sport, go and socialize, go and people like you. That's what you want. And then come back to work after that, and maybe somebody gleaned for you. Maybe there's some snacks laying around, whatever. It's not really about the work so much as being connected with people and people liking you and knowing the right people. So in this movie, they're like, yeah, you're working, but there's all these social events and you're not here. So they also have in the Circle, this company, this organization, the Circle, they have everything you can imagine. They've got a concert area where people can go and listen to music. They've got all kinds of places for people to hang out. It's basically your life revolves around this organization, the Circle. And that's exactly how it was at Bethel, especially Wallkill, because Wallkill Bethel, or the farm, how do I describe this? Everything you see is owned by the organization. Like, you don't leave the facilities like you would in Brooklyn, and now you're in the city in Brooklyn, and you just have regular people around you. No. At Wallkill, you can leave the building that you're working in. You can leave your residential building. And as you look around, it's just all grass and trees and everything that the organization owns it. And you don't have anybody walking around other than other Bethelites. There's no reason for anybody to even be in that area other than other Bethelites. You got a basketball court. You got all kinds of social things going on. You got a walking path where you can go for a walk. You got things like that. So it's the movie in Bethel. It was the same thing, throughout, where you really want to be connected. Otherwise, you're going to have a really hard time at Bethel. One difference, though, I've got to tell you is the organization, the Circle, had a lot of women there, a lot of single women, single guys, I'm sure, married women, married guys. Not Bethel. Bethel, you got a bunch of guys. You got married women. You may have a nurse or someone with a special skill that is a woman that may be single. But yeah, you got a bunch of guys. So I'm sure that was a pleasant thing in the movie, The Circle. People socializing with other members of the opposite sex and things like that. But at Bethel, you got a bunch of guys. Unless you're going to activities and things in your congregation outside of Bethel, or people are coming from wherever to Bethel. But also have their own, doctors and everything else, just like at Bethel. You got your dentist. The doctor we had at Walk Hill, oh my goodness. I mean, I never really had to see him. I saw him, but I never had to have services from him or anything like that. I think he was like a retired doctor. He seemed a bit older. I'm like, I don't know what's he gonna do, but he seemed much older. But I'm rambling on and on here. But everything about this movie, this organization, the circle, is just it. It is just it. Like, it is going to change the world. Having a job there is awesome. She goes home to see her family, and her family is just so proud of her that she works where she works, and they're telling her friends where she works and just bragging about her. And they're so proud of her. And that's exactly what it's like when you come home from Bethel. Let's say you get to visit home from Bethel. Your parents telling everybody you're at Bethel, proud of you, yada, yada, yada. The movie does what movies do in that the downside of the circle hits her. May is just like I was at Bethel. Oh my goodness. Gung ho. The circle, she's an extremist as far as circlers go. They would call her a circler. They called them guppies because she was new. At Bethel, you're a new boy. You know what I mean? Because you're new. But they were calling her a guppy because she was new. But as far as the circle's idealism, she bought into it 1,000%. Like, she was just a circle cyborg. And that was the same with me with regards to Bethel. Bethel was everything. I'm going to tell you this is going to sound weird, but there are memorial stones at Walk Hill, a little bit away from the main complex. I'm trying to describe where it would be, but let's say you're leaving the main lobby, you turn left and go around the corner, and over there's a hill, and on top of that hill there's memorial stones there. I don't know if there's bodies buried there or not, but there's memorial stones there. Some people that you would probably recognize in yearbooks and things like that have memorial stones there. And I was so into Bethel, so this is it. This is what I want to do. Everything. I dreamt about being buried there and everything. Like, my whole career being there, having a memorial stone there. I mean, that was it, And that's kind of how she was. Now, there was a turn in the movie which I totally felt. And that is when the downside of the circle hit her. It's just like a Bethelite who they wake up every day and they eat, breathe, sleep Bethel. Eat, breathe, and sleep. I don't know what I said. Eat, breathe, and sleep. Eat, breathe, and sleep Bethel. They love Bethel. Bethel's everything. And then they find out the downside. She went home. There was an event that happened. I won't tell everything, but it was a major event that happened. And it was caused basically by the circle and their idealism and things like that. And she was back home, and her mother said that she had not left the bed in 3 days. She'd been in bed for 3 days. She was crushed. That is so just like me, and I'm sure just like so many other Bethelites that are really into the organization, and they're not just there because their parents want them to be there, or there because they didn't really have another choice, or they're just because their friends are there, but they're there because they want to be there because they believe in the organization's ideology. When that negative side of the organization hits, that the leadership really isn't following what your average member is expected to follow. The organization is not really running the way it is depicted in the Watchtower and Awake, you would call it your rank and file. The leadership people like that are not doing all of what the rank and files got to do. And other things. When all that stuff hits you, like I was in bed for I don't know how long. I was crushed. I was like literally having physical reactions from it. I had migraines. I couldn't eat. I was in bed all the time, depressed. There was another guy that I heard about that came from Bethel. This was years ago. And he actually came to Ohio. He also came back to Ohio. I think he was married. And he came back to Ohio from Bethel. And whatever was going on with him, he died from it. He had the same physical reaction where his body was just breaking down. He was under so much stress. And he actually died from it. And I don't want to say the guy's name, but I met up with him. Had a little meetup here in Dayton. And he told me about this guy. And the guy I met up with is man, he used to go to my congregation years and years and years and years back. And then as I was a kid, I heard he turned apostate, and it's just all you know is it must just mean he's the evilest person on earth, But I met up with him, and he told me about that someone else had such a stressful experience at Bethel that they physically, their body shut down, and they actually died. Now, in the movie, of course, it's got to have an ending that's somewhat good. It's unrealistic, but okay. So she goes back to the circle, just like any of us Bethelites would think about. We want to go back to Bethel, and we want to fix the issues. The difference between May and your average Bethelite is May had more power, more notoriety from people. May was more of your Ray friends as far as her status became with regards to that organization in the circle. So when she spoke, the world listened. Kind of like Ray Franz. When he spoke, the world listened. Like that's the type of person that would be able to go back to Bethel and have some pull to be able to change things. So that's what she did. She pulls herself together and she goes back to the circle with a plan to enact change, to make the circle what she felt it should be. And basically what she did was put the leadership on blast. Number one, everything about the leadership, everything that was going on at the circle, she made public. That's what all of us want, Bethelites to do when they come back from Bethel. Make public everything that's been going on at Bethel. And she also did another thing, which is she had the power and the clout at the time and the pull with the public to put the leadership on the spot and have them make sure that they were under the same scrutiny and had to live by the same guidelines and everything else that all the other circlers had to live under, the same surveillance, the same constantly being watched, all of that. The leadership of the organization got a taste. So yeah, let's have the leadership get a taste of being shunned or not being able to talk to their family and, having people watch them when they marry wives 30 years younger than them and all of that, let's let them have to go door to door and go door to door for more than an hour and, things like that. Actual do physical work and labor and things like that. Let's have them do that. So the movie reminded me a lot about Bethel. I liked it. If you're a Jehovah's Witness, ex-Jehovah's Witness, you could watch the movie and the movie might ring some bells there. But if you're a Bethelite, I think you definitely watch that and you just feel some similarities. As you feel what she's feeling, being a part of this big organization, you feel some similarities. So that's all for now. This is ex Bethelite signing out.